You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
Welcome to the Hot Options Report, your premier source for insight into the fast-moving options market. Each day, we'll track down the products that are dominating the options chains and impacting your trading account, from Nvidia to VIX and everything in between. If it's lighting up the options tape, then you'll find it on the Hot Options Report.
All right, everybody, that music means it is time once again for your Hot Options Report. For Thursday, February 19th, my name, of course, Mark Longo from the Options Insider Radio Network, home of your favorite options podcasts for now over 19 years. And, of course, you've head on over to the Pro, home of the infamous, the legendary Vol death matches. You do want to check those out. Trust me, as well as everything else that's cooking on the Pro. And speaking of checking things out, if you're not checking out our friends over there at thehotoptionsreport.com, what are you doing? You are literally doing it wrong. Thehotoptionsreport.com, the best place to go to crunch all your options flow as we get on into that flow. Was it a wild, was it an explosive, was it a banger day out there in the realm of options? The answer was no, even though it looks a little bit better at the end of the day than it was shaping up to at the middle of the session. Ended up costing you about 476,000 contracts to break into the top 10 today. Gets us to a name we don't talk about really ever on the network outside of moments like this. It's our old pal SHEL, ticker symbol SHEL, trading $80.38, up about half a buck today. And it was Div Play Day, which is why SHEL was on the docket today, listeners. The hot option in SHEL, 90,000 of the 70 calls, again, in the money calls. Apparently, it was Petroleum Div Day. We have a few of these popping up in our top 10 today as we keep climbing to the number 9 spot. Yep, we're going to the monster. MSTR rallying, listeners, up a little over $4 today, about 4.25, about 3.3%, closing 129.45. So folks have been waiting for a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of green in the crypto market, getting some at least in MSTR today, putting up 632,000 contracts for the number 9 spot. So a decent jump from number 10 to number 9 today. The hot option in MSTR, we're going to the upside. We're going back to the 130s, 28,000 of those trading today. Average price for these, nearly $4. And before you say, wow, $4 expiring tomorrow, these are actually expiring on the 27th. So buying a little bit of extra time, is that worth $4? Or is that $4 offered up to the market and indeed the crypto gods? I'll let you folks decide as we keep climbing, listeners, to the number 8 name on our countdown today. This is AMD. They've been on a wild ride so far this year, gaining back 3.25 today to close at 203.37, putting up 636,000 contracts for the number 8 spot on our countdown today. The hot option in AMD, listeners, 41,000 of the 230 puts. That's a choice. Expiring tomorrow. Average price for these right around $28 because guess what? They were about $28 in the money at the time. So a bit of a deep in the money put, topping the tape in AMD as we keep climbing to the number 7 spot on our countdown today, listeners. Keeping it in the A tech names, it's the Fruit Company. Apple selling off $3.77 or nearly 1.5% to close 260.58. If you're wondering, it puts it off nearly 4% or about 10.5 handles so far year to date after a wild roller coaster already, putting up 637,000 contracts for the number 7 spot on our countdown today. The hot option in the Fruit Company, 41,000 of the 265s expiring tomorrow. Average price for these right around $1. It's like paper might have been selling these today, listeners. And the high today was nearly that strike, 264 and about a half. So these were looking a lot more relevant earlier in the session. We'll keep an eye on these, see if we can hit that 265 again tomorrow, or at least threaten it as we keep climbing to the number 6 spot. Yep. Petroleum div plays, all the rage with the kids these days, listeners. BP coming in at number 6 today. Popping about 50 cents to close at $39 exactly, up 1.25%, putting up 677,000 contracts. For the number 6 spot, the hot option on X-div day, 135,000. Of the 37 calls, once again, in the money call action, the telltale sign of a div play, listeners. As we keep climbing to the number 5 spot, was Palantir climbing today? The answer was no. They sold off $0.50 to close at 134.89, listeners. Putting up 772,000 contracts for the number 5 spot on our countdown today, listeners. And the hot option in Palantir, just a tick below 60K of the 155 puts, the double puts. These are pretty meaty, and they went up for $21.30. So some more in the money put action lighting up the tape. This time in Palantir, listeners, as we keep climbing to the number 4 spot out there today. Lest you think we are done with A-Tech names. Nope. Amazon coming in at number 4 today, up a whopping 7 cents to close at 204.86, putting up nearly 1 million contracts, 934,000 contracts. And the hot option in the Amazonians today, 116,000. Oh, again, the 230 puts, average price for these, about $26. So we are seeing a lot of deep in the money put flow lighting up the tape out here in a lot of these names today, listeners, which is, again, not the usual and quite interesting to say the least, as we keep climbing to the number 3 spot on our countdown today, listeners. Mr. Softy, did they manage to catch a bid today? The answer was no, selling off another $1.14 to close at $398.46, putting up 1.17 million contracts. For the number 3 spot on our countdown today, the hot option in Mr. Softy, 51,000 of the 410s. Interesting. Rolling the bones to the upside again. This was opening there, expiring tomorrow. Average price, 57 cents. Before you say, that's kind of wild, they got as high as 404.43 today. So these were, dare I say it, a little bit more relevant this morning than they are now. But we'll keep an eye on these. Can Microsoft threaten the 410 strike again? We shall see tomorrow as we find out what the number 2 name on our countdown is today. Take a guess. Yep, it's our old pal Tesla. Closing today, $411.71, up about $0.50 today, putting up 1.94 million contracts for the number 2 spot on our countdown today, the hot option in Tesla. We were talking about these earlier today on the option block, 78, nearly 79,000 of the 415s. Average price for these, $2.83. Tesla kissed that strike earlier in the session. Actually, they got slightly above it ever so briefly, 415.25, before retreating off that level. So obviously these looked a lot better earlier in the session than they do now. If you are buying them, if you sold them, looking decent. You only got one more day to sweat, listeners, as we sweat all the way up to the top spot on our countdown today. Yeah, it's Nvidia putting up 2.09 million contracts to take the number 1 spot with some pretty light volume today. Selling off a whopping 8 cents to close at 187.90 today. The hot option on a light day in Nvidia, 165,000 of the 190s. Average price for these, 62 cents. The high today was 188.43, so they got a little bit closer intraday. Never really broke or threatened the 190 strike. Can it do so tomorrow? If you bought these, you certainly hope so. If you sold them, again, one more day of sweating, listeners, and then that cool 62 cents is yours. And that's going to do it for the Hot Options Report today. Back again tomorrow to wrap up your trading week, talking vol on Volatility Views with our good buddy Dr. Vix. Did he survive his go-around as the special guest referee of the Vol Deathmatch? Well, you got to tune in tomorrow to find out. Come back for the Pro after Vol Views to talk all things weird and wild paper on Options Oddities. And of course, whenever you're listening to this, make sure you check out our friends over there at thehotoptionsreport.com. See you back here tomorrow after the closing bell. And stay safe out there, everybody.
You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.